online. So download the Newsmax app now on your smartphone and start watching Newsmax TV for free. The app has no paywall and gives real news you can trust. Watch great shows with Greg Kelly, Grant Stinchfield, Dick Morris, Michelle Malkin, Diamond and Silk, Mike Huckabee, Alan Dershowitz, Sean Spicer, and a lot more. Newsmax is on all major cable systems. If you don't get Newsmax on cable, call your operator and tell them you want Newsmax. You can always switch to a new service that has Newsmax. Or watch Newsmax for free on Roku, YouTube, Apple TV, Xumo, TiVo Plus, Pluto, and smart TVs like Samsung and LG. Tune in today because Newsmax is real news for real people.
Today in Ag News, I'm a Southeast AgNet. Well, during a meeting scheduled for next week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the Florida Cabinet will consider paying some $4.3 million to conserve 1,780 acres in Santa Rosa County, $1 million for about 729 acres in Jefferson County. According to the News Service of Florida, both projects are on acquisition lists for the Florida Forever program. The Santa Rosa County land, owned by Kingfisher Timber LLC, is used for hunting and to grow timber. It's located near Milton. The Jefferson County land, owned by Woodvest LLC, would help form a corridor of conservation land from Upper Lake Lafayette in Leon County to Appalachia Bay in Taylor County. DeSantis and the cabinet members, Ag Commissioner Nikki Fried, Attorney General Ashley Mood, and State Chief Financial Officer Jimmy Petronas are slated to meet next Tuesday, February the 2nd.
Are you looking for something that's unusual or hard to find? You might just find it at HiBid.com. It's the online auction site for, well, just about anything. HiBid.com has estate sales, closeouts, liquidations, and even government-seized vehicle auctions. It's easy to bid on office furniture, antiques, sports memorabilia, restaurant equipment, motorboats, and even arcade games. You can search for items by name or simply see where the next page takes you. Visit HiBid.com, that's HIBID.com, and find what you're looking for today.
And in a signal that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will release his proposed 2021-2022 budget in the coming days, the Senate Appropriations Committee and Subcommittee are slated next week to receive a series of presentations about his spending plan. According to the News Service of Florida, the Senate calendar also shows the Appropriations Committee is scheduled to receive a presentation about DeSantis' recommendations next Tuesday, February 2nd. Then 5 Appropriations Subcommittees are expected to follow suit on February 3rd. Of course, lawmakers are preparing to draw up a budget during the legislative session that will start on March the 2nd. Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
We'll have plenty of sunshine today with a high of 64 to 71, then mainly clear tonight, low 42 to 51. Plenty of sunshine Friday, high tomorrow 64 to 68. Then a warm day Saturday with sunshine mixing with some clouds. High on Saturday 71 to 75. Thickening clouds on Sunday. Look for showers at night then. High on Sunday 76 to 78. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt. I'm here every day from 8 to 11 a.m., brought to you by the good folks here at WOCA. I'm coming to you live from the palatial studios of said radio station, WOCA, right outside the food court entrance to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City Beautiful, Ocala, Florida, on a chilly yet sunny day. Cold front moved through yesterday, chilled us off just a little bit, but we'll be back in the mid-70s for a beautiful weekend one that I know my guests now will take full advantage of. Galen, on the line with us from Life South, brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Galen, a little chilly this morning, but the weekend looks like it's going to be 72 to 75 on Saturday and sunny, and 77 to 80 on Sunday and sunny. I know you probably got big plans for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, my son's got a basketball game on Saturday, and that'll be pretty much it. I mean, that's where my whole world revolves around right now. So, that's all I got.
How much better a game does your son have than you? I mean, when did he start beating you at basketball? About 5 years old, 6 years old?
No, I mean, he didn't start playing basketball until he was in 8th grade. I mean, he's 6'7". So
he started beating you almost immediately upon taking up the game?
No. He was pretty uncoordinated freshman year. Well, he's never beat me. I want to be very clear on this, Tom. He's never beat me at anything.
It's because you quit before the game's over.
You're damn right. Well, I just stopped playing.
Right.
Once you've got to, there's a lot of psychology when you're raising boys. You've got to at least, once you know that they can beat you up or beat you at anything, you just don't do it anymore.
Well,
there is no more roughhousing anymore.
No. My dad quit roughhousing with me about 12 years old.
Correct. Right. Because you realize, he almost got me, but the only thing that got me through that fight was I'm smarter than him.
That's it.
Right.
100%.
And then you realize, all right, physically I can't compete anymore.
Although I will tell you this. At 13 years of age, I had my father by 2 inches and about 20 pounds. And so I got to that point in my life that every guy gets to. Now, whether they act on it or not is a completely different story. But you get to that moment in life where you go, if he pisses me off again, I could take the old man.
Sure.
Now, whether you act on that thought or not is different. Well, I acted on the thought at 13. And he grabbed me by the arm to stop me from going somewhere in the living room, and I reared back, and I hit him right in the mouth with every bit of energy I had in that fist of mine. Right in the mouth. And it busted his lip. And he touched it and laughed. This was not going to end with. It's kind of like, that instance when you've done something and oh, God, I probably shouldn't have done that. I knew that instantly. And he reared back, and it's the only time he's ever physically punched me, and it's the only time in my life that I ever got physically punched by my father. So before you DCF people go crazy, he reared back, and he punched me right in the mouth, same place I'd punched him. I went through the screen, little wooden screen door you used to have on Florida houses, broke it in pieces. It's all wrapped around me. I'm laying on the front porch, my mouth's bleeding, the biggest pain that I've ever felt in my life. And he comes out, and he's standing over me, and the shadow goes over me, and I'm like, oh, God, he's really fixing to kill me now. And he pulled me out of the screen door, and he kissed me on the forehead and said, son, let's never teach this lesson in life again.
Oh, that is great.
Let me tell you something.
That is pretty good.
Let me tell you something. I'm 54 years old. My father has been dead for the better part of 30-some-odd plus years. I still don't think any bad thoughts or say anything bad about my old man because I'm afraid the sky might open and he hit me again.
That's awesome.
But you know what?
That's awesome.
He taught me that moment that he was always going to be my father and I was always going to be his son. And I should have known it because I saw it vividly for myself at 10 years old. Another great story, lineage-wise, at 10 years old, we had went back to Wisconsin. It's the first time my dad had been to Wisconsin since he left in the 50s because he was not going to be a farm boy. He wasn't going to run the farm. He was getting out. So he got out, right? So we go back in 1976, bicentennial year, and my grandma and grandfather, all the relatives and all big, like church on the grounds, except it was at the farm, and there was like 60, 65 people at all these long tables, like you would see in like a movie or something, you know what I mean, with the prodigal son coming home. So my dad, who was the second oldest boy behind my Uncle Leroy, my grandfather's sitting, my dad's sitting right next to him at the table. I'm sitting right next to my dad. My grandfather's probably mid to late 60s at this time, tall, frail-looking man in my estimation. He goes, son, you're back home would you please say the grace? Now, to a Catholic family, grace is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? To a lot of families it is, but to a Catholic family, it's a big deal. So my father, being the world's biggest smart butt, he goes, damn the meat, damn the skin, back your ears and cram it in. And my grandfather backhanded him away from the table. Now, when you're 10 years old and you see the baddest man you've ever met in your life, your dad, get backhanded away from the table by some older guy that you just met, and then your dad stand up and bow his head and go, sorry, Daddy. You know what that does to a 10-year-old psyche? And my grandfather looked at my dad. My grandfather said, would you like to try it again, son? And my dad said, bless us, O Lord, for these thy gifts which we're about to receive. For thy baptism in Christ our Lord, amen. And he sat back down at the table, and it was never mentioned again.
Sure.
So I should have known better from watching that I wasn't supposed to ball my fist up and hit my dad in the mouth. But I did.
Yeah. But again, as I say all the time, kids are stupid.
Dumb.
And you just hope that your mistake doesn't destroy your life or destroy your life of someone else. I mean, that's it. That's called learning and maturing and growing up.
Like you said, let's never teach this lesson in life again.
Yeah,
and he didn't have to.
Line,
and he didn't have to.
I should hope not.
That is a great line. Isn't that a great line, though? It's a
great line.
Let's never have to teach this lesson in life again.
Great line. Great line.
Oh, it was. Hey, I'm 54, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. So it must have worked as a life lesson.
That's right. I bet you do.
Speaking of remembering things like it was yesterday, 11:38 a.m., January 28th, 1986, the world changed for me. And I thought that was going to be my watershed moment. I thought that I had seen the John F. Kennedy moment of my generation. I was mistaken because we had 9/11 in 2001. Well, but in 1986, I thought I had seen my generation's John F. Kennedy moment. Where were you 73 seconds into the liftoff when the shuttle disintegrated?
Well, and again, it's high school.
Oh, we just went to Bluetooth. We just went to Bluetooth.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was at Forest High School, and we were watching it outside because we were doing something with the teacher, and we were all part of the curriculum with our class and everything. And so, yeah, you could see the launch. It was a gorgeous day, kind of like today.
Yeah, it was very beautiful. A little colder, but beautiful.
You could see forever. And you could see it going up, and then we had a TV out there, with the antenna, and then we had seen so many launches by then, and you could kind of tell something wasn't right, and then boom, and I remember we just stood there and said, well, nobody said a word, which is pretty rare for any high school class. Well, nobody said a word, and you kept waiting for somebody to explain what happened. And the rest of the day was just in this fog of what kind of happened. Not unlike 9/11. 9/11 was different, but I agree with you. That's a moment that you will never forget where you were at. We've had too many of those as a society.
Our generation has had way too many of those.
Yeah.
It started with John F. Kennedy, with the generation before us, with John F. Kennedy's assassination. Sure. And then you had Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy. Sure. Then you had Nixon. With people remember where they were when Nixon resigned. And then you had the space shuttle calamity. And you had the hostages taken in 1979. Then you had the space shuttle calamity. And then you had the 9/11. It's way too many. And that's not even talking about some of the school shootings and all that have become so normal that we don't even remember where they happened or what days they happened on anymore.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I was at Perimeter Mall, not Perimeter Mall, Lenox Square Mall in Atlanta, Georgia, opening we had just opened. I was the assistant manager. I was 20 years old. I was the assistant manager. You ready for this? The Great American Chocolate Chip Cookie Company.
Oh, that's a pretty good gig.
Oh, I had
pretty good gig.
For the longest time, one of the designs in their book I designed. One of the cookie designs. One of the art things I designed. But I was there and we had it on the radio because you didn't have the TV in the mall there. We were listening to the radio, and they were doing what we were listening to was the ABC News or whoever we listened to was playing the feed from NASA, and the guy goes, obviously, there was a catastrophic event. You know, he said it so monotone, like, you know, we're like, what do you mean there's a catastrophic event? So we went running over to the movie theater, which had a TV in the box office, and we had to watch the replay. But I'd forgot because of where I live now, I didn't even think about this. You guys were outside and could actually see the sky itself. You didn't have to see it on TV. You could see the sky itself and know, that don't look right.
Well, you can't. If you remember, you can't see the space shuttle until it's off the ground. I think like 200 feet, 150 feet. You could barely see like the smoke trail. We have the TV out there. It was one of those big ones they brought out on a cart.
Yeah.
Right out on the baseball field at
the Old Forest High School.
At the Old Forest High School, and again, we're like, I remember half of us were like, it's freezing. Why are we out here, right? But our teacher was so, you have one of those teachers, and they were all into it. This was
there was a teacher going up. Krista McCullough was going up. A teacher was going up.
Absolutely, yeah. But to this particular teacher, it was their world, and I remember she almost collapsed when it exploded. There's a great documentary on Netflix about the Challenger. And anybody who cares about it or wants to understand more of what happened, you should watch it. They do a phenomenal job, and they really get in depth as to what happened. Was it just the O-ring? Why did the O-ring fail? Did we know every question you ever had about the Challenger explosion is answered?
Yeah, and I've seen that documentary. And there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot more that goes into the decision-making for the go. And even though they knew the O-ring may be a problem, and it's a really in-depth documentary that really, really, at times, doesn't shed a good light on some of the scientists that were involved.
No. Well, and it's more about the bureaucrats that were involved.
Yeah, it was exactly.
It was the end of the space program. From there on, nobody wanted to, they didn't feel like the risk was worth the reward. And our space program never recovered.
Never recovered. Hey, we need to take a break. When we come back, there's a schedule out, and I'll talk to Galen all about that. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz. We'll be right back. We'd like to thank Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street, for sponsoring Galen Unal's time on WOCA. Palm Gardens offers skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions how they're handling COVID-19, please give them a call at 352-854-6262. That's 352-854-6262.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named. The man, the myth. The only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person. It's Tom Schmitz.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz on a Thursday morning. 35 years ago today, the Space Shuttle Challenger incident occurred. We'll talk about that throughout the morning. We'll take your calls on that, but we'll go out to the phone lines now. Thanks to the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center and Penn Flooring, and continue our conversation with Galen Unall from Life South. Galen, schedule came out yesterday for the Florida Gators 2021 season, and if you look at the college schedule, it looks like they think things are back to normal for the 2021 season. Doesn't look like they're going to worry about COVID too much. 12-game season. Back to the Gators stay the first 4 weeks of the season. They stay in Florida the whole time as they play Florida Atlantic in the Swamp on their opener. Then they they go to Tampa to play South Florida. And then they open up the SEC season with 2 home games. And they open up the SEC season with defending national champs Alabama in the Swamp. That's a big game. 3 games into the season to open up with Alabama.
Well, yeah, the 4th game of the year, right? Because they play FAU, USF, and Tennessee first.
It's Florida Atlantic, USF, Alabama, then Tennessee.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. Well, they could. Hear me out, Tom. They could be 2-2 after that Tennessee game.
100% they could be.
I don't think there's any chance they'll be 4-0.
I think they're 3-1 at best.
At best, yeah. I think they could be 2-2 very, very easily. And now people are questioning everything that is Florida football. And that's a good place to be as a Florida State fan. I enjoy when Florida fails. So I think they get blown out at home by Alabama. Tennessee, and I mean blown out.
Tennessee, September 25th at home. Then they go on the road at Kentucky. Then they got Vanderbilt back here on the 9th. Then they got LSU in Tiger Stadium. Then they got Georgia in Jacksonville. They play LSU and Georgia back-to-back, but they do have a bye week in between those 2 games. Then they're on the road at South Carolina. Then they got Samford, that school in Alabama. But they play that at Ben Hill. Then they're at Missouri, and they wrap up their season, as always, except for last year, with a visit from the Florida State Seminoles on November 27th.
Right, and I think they get to that Florida State game with 3 losses.
I know that if I was a betting man, which I am, I'm betting they lose to Alabama. I'm betting they lose to either LSU or Georgia. So I could see them with 2 losses, maybe 3 if they lose to Tennessee or LSU or Georgia, one of those 2 games, and I think they'll win. But they could very well lose.
Missouri's going to be very, very good this year.
Missouri's always very, very good, and then gets the brakes beat off of them.
Right.
So, but the Florida State game could really be 2 teams that are playing to get in a better than December 27th bowl.
I haven't looked at FSU's schedule yet, but the FSU, if they win 8 games, it's a great season for them.
Yes.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. That hurts me to say.
Now, here's my question.
It's where the program is.
Here's my question to you. There's been some talk recently between 2 people who were recently engaged. I won't say who they are, but there's been some talk between 2 people that were recently engaged about the 9th or 16th of October. Now, one of the people that had just recently engaged said, we have to check the Florida football schedule.
Darn right you do.
The 9th is Vanderbilt at home. The 16th is LSU on the road. If you were giving advice to said couple, now we'll not mention who the said couple is, but if you were giving advice to the said couple, you having the wedding on the 9th in the Vanderbilt game or the 16th, the LSU game, or you scrapping it and just wait until the end of football season?
Or you just do it the 23rd, the bye week.
Ooh, the 23rd, the bye week. Hadn't thought about that. I will. When I talk to the people that I'm referring to, I'll mention that you came up with the 23rd.
You do not want to compete with a home game. Now, That LSU game, we don't know what time it is
It's
at.
probably going to be 7:30 at night because they like to get
If
liquored
it's a
up in
night
Baton
game,
Rouge.
Correct. If it's a night game, you could have the wedding and the reception will be one to remember or one to forget. So, but you're not going to know if that's going to be a night game until 3 weeks before.
Right. Yeah.
So you could
the
roll
said couple,
the dice.
the said couple. Now I won't mention who the couple is, but the said couple could roll the dice and say tentatively. And if it happens to be a night game, then you're on. But if it's a day game, you're not on. That's a little cutting it a little close. What'd you say?
Yeah, you don't want to have the. It will be the 3:30 game, right? Right? It will be the 3:30 game.
Unless CBS flexes it to their night game. They like to every now and then have a night game.
Right. So you could have the wedding at 1 o'clock, and
said couple,
then you're good.
Said couple could have the wedding at 1 o'clock.
Right. I understand what you're saying, but you've got to, the 23rd's wide open. You're not competing with anything. But at the same time, as a good wedding reception, there's always good to have something in the background that people are talking about. So besides the mother-in-law and that ridiculous speech that the groom's best man made. So you need to have that in the background. And there's always a guy in the crowd who's going to tell you everything that happens.
Always.
And it's usually me or it's usually you. So as long as one of us is invited, it'll be fine.
Well, there you go. Now said groom to be, I have it on good authority that his bachelor party is being planned by one of his good friends, and I have it on good authority that the bachelor party, because of the age of the bride and groom to be, that the bachelor party, not your typical bachelor party will consist more of cigars, bourbon, and golf.
It's a good combination. So Muni 1 better look out.
No. I have it on good authority that it will be somewhere like Champions Gate or Lake Buena Vista, Disney's Lake Buena Vista, or something like that. It'll be an out of town excursion for 8 to 12 people from the Atlanta, Savannah area and Florida. I won't say who the groomsman is, but I've heard that that's where the people are coming from.
All right. A lot of flip-flops will be shown that weekend.
A lot of flip-flops.
In October.
I think we got a good plan going so far.
Well, that's good. Sounds good. But, I would look at the 23rd.
I hadn't even thought about it. I will tell the people I'm referring to that the 23rd is wide open.
That's what I would do.
So they could always do it November 27th because that's an inconsequential game, Florida State. You know what I mean? But anyway. Hey, Galen, where's the Bloodmobile today?
Yeah. Hey, today we're at Planet Fitness right there on Southwest 24th Avenue, so come by and see us, and please get the Life Donate Blood. We're also right on the boulevard, and we are in emergency need of everything, so please come and see us.
Which Planet Fitness is that? Is that the one off Maricamp?
Yes, it is.
All right, right by the bowling alley.
Yep.
All right. Galen, talk to you tomorrow, pal.
All right, be good. Thanks, Tom.
See it. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, on top of the world, and the villages. The Source.
Full presentation. USA Radio News with Lance Pride.
The Biden administration is set to ban new leases on oil and gas drilling on federal lands and waters for 1 year. The American Petroleum Institute projects 1 million job losses could occur by 2022. Currently, the gas and oil industry provides 10.3 million jobs in the United States, with workers making an average salary of $101,000 a year. The Biden administration says job losses that occur in the oil and gas industry will be made up by those created in renewable energy. John Kerry, who serves as the presidential envoy for climate, told petroleum workers that they can be the people to go make solar panels. At roughly $35,500 a year, that would be a $66,000 a year pay cut. Actress Cloris Leachman has died in her Encinitas, California home Tuesday of natural causes. She was 94. This is USA Radio News.
Times are certainly uncertain. In fact, the return of food shortages is likely. Don't take chances. Make the decision